How does drug addiction affect family members? This is a very difficult situation. Full-fledged addiction wears on everybody in the family. It's because they care and worry so much about the user. However, they're limited as to what they can do. Only the user can do the hard work. The family can help bring them to rehab, be there for support, to not enable them by being there for them but not giving them money, for example. That's what I mean by not enabling. It's a tough situation. It wears on everybody, and even that on its own, though, is not enough to stop the drug user from using. I know this because from my own personal experience that I was so reluctant to asking for help, and I could see my family were at their wits' ends trying to help me, but if I didn't want to get help for myself, then there's only so much that they could do. So it's a very difficult thing on family members. On the other side of this coin, though, is that when somebody's in rehab, that they learn quickly that they need to be accountable to family. They need to restore the family's trust in them. And that means that they're predictable. There's also an expression, they look clean, act clean, and are clean. So they look well, they're talking openly about their addiction, any issues that are going on, so they can help better enable the family to be involved in their care. Because addiction is an illness of isolation, whereas recovery is one about being connected to family. So it's super important for the user to inform the family what they're going through. When there's a stress of some sort and they're maybe considering using again, to let somebody know right away. The family could learn how to recognize when their loved one is going through a tough time, and so they can apply a team approach. So in summary, when someone is in the deep throes of addiction, it can be very hard on family because they want to help, but they aren't the one who needs to do the work. It's the user themselves. They can try to help as much as they can, but there's only so much. There's a limit to that because the ultimate responsibility lies with the user. In recovery, however, the family is very important because the user needs a support network of people that they can talk to and open up about their issues. So that summarizes it. There's resources available online for family members, those suffering with addiction, with AA and other 12-step groups. They have something called Al-Anon, which is educational groups, self-help group for family members. What to do if one of your family members is abusing drugs? The first thing to do is to confront them, but in a compassionate way. Anger and agitation are not conducive to a good quality conversation. There needs to be compassion first off, to allow this person to realize that you're worried about them, you care about them, and that you just want to understand what it is that they're going through that they felt the need to use. Sometimes it could be as simple as boredom and recreational use, experimentation. It can otherwise, at the other end of the spectrum, could be that they're reliant on it as a crutch and as a coping tool. So learning about why it is that they're using, what is going on in their lives, and to approach them with love, compassion, and kindness. The next step is to go with your loved one to a drug treatment counselor or an addictionist physician who specializes in addiction, or even the family doctor. It's okay if they're comfortable with this. This is a good portal of entry to learn more. But the idea is, through either one of those specialists, is to get a third opinion on things, to learn more about what's going on in the family dynamic, what things to look out for, like for overdoses, and to come up with some sort of agreement so that there's full disclosure by the user, that the family's there to support them and not be punitive or punish them, but at the same time that the family needs to learn that they cannot enable the user to continue using. And what I mean by enabling, this is a big one when it comes to families, is that the user has generally learned ways of manipulating family to getting what they want to feed their habits. So either it's money, typically, or resources, or access to the car, for example. So what to do when you discover your loved one is abusing drugs is to confront them in a loving and compassionate way, to learn what's going on, to not punish them, but to not enable them at the same time. And finally, to speak to a healthcare professional or drug treatment counselor, both for the family and the user, to gain knowledge and to come to some sort of agreement in terms of accountability, of being honest and open with each other. This is the best way to start approaching this serious problem.